Today is November 27th, 2022, half past midnight here in the place where I am. It's one of the European countries. And this is the first episode of my fireside chat. I was watching during last week's many videos on YouTube on the coming crisis that will come to United States, to Europe, and generally to the world. Many analysts and YouTubers speak that we are very close to a big recession that will bring maybe even worse consequences than the crisis of 2008. And I thought that it would be great to try to put all my thoughts on the topic in some place. Please bear in mind, although I have some educational background, my degree is very close to the topic that we are mentioning. I have MBA from one of the top 10 schools from Financial Times ranking. I work in quite a big company that allows me to somehow understand some of the processes that are happening in the corporate world. I want to say that I'm not an economist who spent his entire days studying economic situation. Being said that, somehow I were able to predict many of the things that happened in the past. In fact, this is one of the reasons as well why I decided to start recording my thoughts, maybe on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, I don't know. But start recording my thoughts because I found that somehow I were able to anticipate many of the things that were happening before. Being it war in Ukraine, I knew that it will happen. Many people had their doubts. Many of my friends had doubts about this. I were consistently speaking that the war will be, and the war will be quite hard. This is what we see right now. In fact, the same night before the attack, I was speaking with one person there in Ukraine, and I was telling that most likely next day the attack will happen, and this is what happened. Just for you to know, from financial perspective, from economic perspective, I changed my loans to fixed interest rate in 2021. You know what this means, right? When the interest rates were minus 0.5 for euro, and in bank they told me that I'm crazy, that I want to pay more 1.5% when I weren't paying no interest rate at all. And now they have absolutely different opinion on that my decision. How many people did that at that time? Because right now everybody would say, hey, that was easy to predict, no? But how many people did it? How many people actually bet on that? I tell you, not many. I want to say that definitely there is no one in the world that can predict the future. But I think it's great if we can discuss it. It's absolutely fine to fail. It's important to be prepared for the worst. And if nothing happens, much better. I want to say that, for example, I thought that the crisis will start in 2020, and I was preparing myself for 2020. And somehow crisis didn't come, but we had, instead of financial, we had health crisis. So it's impossible to know what exactly will happen, but it's great if we can discuss it, if we can prepare for the worst together, and then just if nothing happens, just say, okay, I failed, it's fine. Now, regarding the many of the YouTube channels that are advocating for the future crisis and that everything will break down and so on, be careful with that channels. What I've seen is that many of that channels are somehow linked, or they're promoting some sort of political movement, right? They try to show how bad things are right now, somehow to diminish the value of current governments. Some of them even doing this because of the financial interest. Yeah, imagine that. Due to financial interest, because they are promoted by the companies that sell gold and things like that. So imagine they are advocating, hey, everything will be very bad, currencies will fall, and there is not many things that you can buy to save your wealth, and actually gold or stocks of companies that produce gold is a great asset that you can buy right now. And they keep saying everything will fall, everything will disappear, stocks will be on the bottom. So be very careful of many of those challenges. I encourage you to watch them, but you need always be cautious. Don't watch only one. It's better to see different channels from maybe some conflicting channels. If you find out that someone criticizes the other one, try to watch both points of view. But from many of the channels that I watched those days, I found one. I will not mention it here, but I will mention the I will mention one of the, I mean, it was not the main idea, it was not the main topic. Actually, the idea was discussed in absolutely different and wrong way. But they spoke about free cash flow. And I think the next crisis will be very, very close to what free cash flow problem could be. I think it might be caused by the free cash flow problems of quite healthy companies. Imagine the situation. In the United States, during the pandemic in 2020, crazy amounts of money were printed. And I know that this is like typical conversation that United States printing money, and it's happens, I think, since 80s. Everyone says that how much money United States is printing. But it's absolutely different in this case. If you go to Fed, or if you go to Google, and don't go to Fed directly. If you go to Google and you search for M1 money supply, M1 money supply in United States and you watch this graph, you will find out why 2020 is absolutely different to anything else. So M1 is the most liquid money, right? It's coins, currency, and overnight deposits. Essentially, the money that you can spend in a shop nearby, it's the money that you receive from your employer. So there were amazing increase, like I think double or you just look at the graph, and in my blog I will publish this graph because it's insane. So there was amazing increase of this money, M1 money, the real money, the one that you actually receive as a paycheck and the one that you spend in the shop. And what happened? People started to spend, the usual thing, right? The economy started to grow. At the same time, prices grow. But and if you look at companies' revenues and incomes during 2021, during 2022, those looks amazing. Those looks great. Why stocks are going down? Can you explain why stocks are going down? And I think the problem here is that companies started to see problems with free cash flow. People were buying products and using services that were procured at prices before crisis and before inflation, at 2021 prices. And then suddenly 2022 came with absolutely unbelievable inflation, unbelievable growth of all costs. So while 2022 companies were spending and their costs were related to the previous money, but they already had the inflation increase, meaning that they were selling more expensive, while still some of the things were in stock from previous period, with previous prices. Therefore, their margins, their income were not so bad. But now they need to go to international markets, to international counterparties, and they now need to purchase again the goods that they will sell in 2023. And what they find out is that prices have risen, and the money that they have from the sales in 2022 might be not enough to cover all the necessary costs to prepare for 2023. Those companies might have had some investment because they've seen how fast everything is growing, and suddenly they see that they're struggling to prepare for 2023. Also, as money that were given to people during the pandemic start to decrease because prices are increasing and spend were increasing rapidly during 2021 and 2022. So many of that money that were given to people, or that people started to earn because unemployment in the United States is quite low right now, and in Europe the unemployment is also comparably low if we consider what is the usual unemployment in Europe. So you take all that, and now people spend less because they don't have money anymore. They don't have this 2020 money that they received. It's somewhere in the economy, but inflation has eaten many of that increase of money. So less spend, but at the same time, much higher cost to companies. Unfortunately, the crisis will be, I would say, quite hard in 2023. I would say quite hard. And as a way for you to prepare for it, my understanding is definitely every situation is different. And I cannot give any advice that is one size fits all. First of all, be pessimistic. Be pessimistic on the outcome. Don't expect that everything will be fine. It's better to be a little bit nervous, cautious, than really be in the situation when you prepare for everything, when everything is sunny and good weather, and you have a thunderstorm. Be pessimistic. Look at what loans you have. What are the necessary spend you have? Try to save as much cash as possible. It might sound stupid, right? We are in high inflation, and I say save cash. I would say forget about earning money. Forget about getting some extra income out of the 2023. Ensure that you survive, your survival. Ensure your survival. Make sure that if you lose your income 100% for one reason or another, and given the situation, nobody is safe. Just ensure you have something that will allow you to live for some month without a dependence of the income. Then many people speak about crypto as a place or as a market where that will not be affected by the crisis. I mean, definitely after the FTX bankruptcy and before all this churn with Luna, many people is much more cautious with crypto. But there are still a lot of optimists in crypto, as crypto is not part of this financial system, is decentralized. No central bank is controlling it. It's like a safe haven. I would say that if you are in crypto, invest your time, not your money. Now it's time to invest your time. Learn as much as you can. Understand different protocols, different projects, but don't invest money. Again, it sounds like financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and definitely it's not a financial advice. Consider it as a conversation of a person with himself. And in fact, it's what it is. It's my conversation that I record for myself, but I let it open so other people may comment, may evaluate it, and maybe take something that will help them make maybe their own decision based on my opinion, on opinion of other people and their own analysis of the situation. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, nor I'm an economist. It's not my job. I'm doing absolutely different thing. If you want to know what I'm doing public sector contracts. So nothing like doing financial advice or economic analysis. This is it for today. I will keep monitoring the situation. I think we are near to the very interesting time. I think when the crisis will end, the world that we will find after this crisis will be absolutely unrecognizable. It will be a world where there will be no single source of truth, no single leadership. But when crisis will end, wars will end, and the situation will stabilize, we will have tens of years of prosperity. But that will come in the future. For now, we will need to pass through 4 or 5 years of turbulences, unfortunately. And the extent of the turbulences might be very, very, very broad. Thank you very much for staying with me during this time. Feel free to write comments. I'm new in YouTube. I never did it before. I'm open to criticism, but constructive criticism. I will not tolerate any insult or to me or to other people. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. You can also review my blog. I will leave the address in the description. And I would really appreciate if you can give me or update me on the topics that you would like me to speak, because I'm again new in this and I need your support. Thank you very much to all, and see you next time.